Hey, brothers and sisters, what's up? This is the Reluctant Navi back again. News, views on the news, another documentary on the state of the Afro community. And as we go, so does the United States. All right. And as I say this, we must look at this. All right. The Democrats and the feminists are destroying the nation right before your eyes. And in no small part, they got their technique honed via the black woman's betrayal of the Afro man since the 70s. In other words, the feminists, the so-called Democrats, all right, I'm going to show you what they're for. But the so-called feminists got their training by the black women that were a part of the Black Panthers as far as organizing, marching, just how to do what they've been able to do in corrupting the society so well. All feminist organizations, the LGBT, all of them, their origins and their training come from those set of black women that bailed on the Afro man way back in 1970. So I just wanted to give y'all that little bit of history. You know, the same women that forgot that these men started Head Start, Meals on Wheels, WIC, the free clinic, all that stuff that black women enjoy. All right. So let me greet everybody before we really dive deep into this. Because y'all see the big elephant in the room. All right. Good dog. Hola, good dog. Habort and Hardu. Oi to the bang. Vasas los. Bonjour, mes amis. Kedu. Bawani konnichiwa. Niao niama. Sani bonani. Jumbo habaragani. Assalamu alaikum and shalom. All right. Now, I want to remind y'all of something. The FBI, Democrats, right? Well, what's the purpose of the FBI? See, we've been blaming the Republicans and white people as a whole for too much when the responsibility, one, is our own because we didn't need this government. Two, more directly, the black woman and her betrayal of the black man. Three, the Democratic organization. And what did they come up with? Think about this. I touched on this before, and this is a Democratic thing. Remember the documentary. Remember what I keep pointing out every so often, time and time again. Just for y'all to keep this in your mind. The FBI is the Democrats, right? What is their goal? Their goal is to prevent the coalition of militant black nationalist groups. Do you know what they call militant black nationalist group? Any group of Afro men that decide to get together to talk about ways to empower and make their community better within the confines of the state of the government in which we now reside. All right, here's an important one. Look at this. Why did they use the word Messiah? Prevent the rise of a Messiah who could electrify and unify and electrify the militant black nationalist movement. Why do they use the word Messiah? One, they understand that we belong to Yah. They understand that we are the chosen, not because we're better, but for some reason there's a purpose for us that we bring to each society. All right, and the Most High don't like when you F with us, but if you can go get us to go away from the commandments, we are left open to attacks, right? And the primary vehicle of these attacks has been through the black woman who betrayed us to the utmost. All right? That's why they use Messiah. They also understand that we are indigenous to this land. Oh, and let's not get it twisted. It's something that the so-called indigenous Indians, as they say, the red man, they understood this going a while back. They were complicit in the hokey doke that was played on black people, the trickster to get us to give away our identity as the indigenous or aboriginal peoples of this land. And yes, there was maybe a million or two Africans that mixed in with us, but primarily we were indigenous. That's why the Africans could mix in. All right. Third, prevent the militant black nationalist groups and leaders from gaining respectability by discrediting them to the community. We are going to concentrate on this particular one this time. All right. Prevent the militant black nationalist groups and leaders from gaining respectability by discrediting them to the community. The one thing a nationalist group would not be that cared about the community is a Democrat. As a matter of fact, all the way from Malcolm X to every real leader that actually cared to the point where they gave their life for the community, to the point where they gave their life, all of them was against the Democrats. The Democrats were responsible for the assassination of all the leaders that were looking after the community. From Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Huey P. Newton, Fred Hampton, all of them. Medgar Evers, all of them assassinated by the Democrats, either directly or indirectly. All right, I'm letting y'all know something right now. All right, a final goal should be to prevent the long-range growth of militant black nationalist organization, especially among the youth. And where did this come from? Well, these are excerpts from the FBI COINTELPRO document. Where's this from? The excerpts of the FBI COINTELPRO document. Who is primarily, what is the political leanings of the FBI? Democratic. The Democratic Party. Remember, Democratic Party doesn't mean that they represent the people. I'm going to show you here, and this is a scary thing. The Democrats do not represent the people. They do not represent communities. They do not represent the family. They do not represent justice. Now, I can't say that the Republicans represent justice when it comes to Afro peoples, because they have shown that they don't. But family values, and they think that the United States is a good place, and everybody that's a minority understand that to be just blatantly false, horrifically false. To think that the United States is just, we are responsible for so much death is ridiculous. Our government is doing in the name of the people while keeping the people blind to what the government is doing. All right? So, I want y'all to understand this. Now, we get into the next problem. Right here. Cosby gets 3 to 7 years for trumped up charges in a kangaroo court by a woman that was able to lie 6 times until she could get the lie right. All right. And the whole purpose of it was to crap on his name so that they can justifiably take every good thing that he was a part of and keep it from black people, while allowing actual guys that committed actual things with actual evidence, like the dude from Seventh Heaven. All right. They did not censor any of his programs. It still runs in syndication. Or any other person, Weinstein or any other person. What was so significant about Bill Cosby? You had to come up with a reason to not ever let the Cosby Show, which showed black family values, a different world, which showed collegiate values, the value of education. You had to come up with a reason to keep those kind of shows from seeing the light of day for the children that are growing up now. That's why they did all of this. They didn't want family values and education. Wait a minute, but all these Me Too things, Fox ran with it, but most of the women that was doing this were feminists who are Democrats. Period. All right, but this country is dying a slow death. All right, and the first thing you do is take away justice, and you take away family and blood allegiance. Let's break that down. All right, y'all. Let's get into the part one of what I'm gonna give you. Right, Kavanaugh, the guy that's Trump nominated for the Supreme Court. The Democrats don't like him. So, what did they do? They went back to lying women to try to trump up charges on this man. All right. So, Dianne Feinstein, who's leading this charge, decided that they're going to use the Me Too plan, which is we can destroy any man in the United States because there's no such thing as justice anymore. Women have figured it out. All they got to do is say Me Too, and they can destroy anybody from getting big, seeking office, or anything where you need the approval of people. Why? Because this is no longer a republic. It was never intended to be a democracy, and democracies are the worst government, the worst kind of government for this reason. And we're going to talk about Socrates, who died saying that, Plato, who mimicked that, and Aristotle. All right, we're going to talk about them briefly, or at least two of them. All right, but Socrates hated democracy. As a matter of fact, any thinking person hates democracy. The problem that the founding fathers had with democracy is mob rule. The mob can always take away the wealth of those minorities that got it. The mob can always, if somebody earned land, the mob can always take it away. Democracy is an unjust way to be governed. And basically, we are getting the proof in the women of the United States in this Me Too crap. So Kavanaugh has some accusers come up to try to halt his nomination. All right. And so what happens is they make some unreasonable claims under Dianne Feinstein. All right. Instead of the accuser, all right, in order for the accuser to come and testify, they wanted the defendant to defend himself first from what he don't understand he's going to be defending himself from. All right. In other words, the woman that's the accuser, that wants to accuse her, wants to hear a defense to charges that he don't know that he's going to be accused of, and then tweak her accusation to get around his defense or whatever it is. So if he says, well, if she accuses me in June, I wasn't even in the place on June. Well, that was her first thing to accuse him in June. But now she knows that he wasn't in town in June. She'll accuse him and say that the incident happened in July. These are lying women. They can't say it on TV, but we can tell the truth on social media. And some people can lie on social media. But if you're going to get the truth, from people that are not afraid to tell it and show it to you, all right, then you need to come to social media, because we are not doing this for the money. Google has already stripped all the money that this channel earns. This channel only earns money when people go down into my description box and click on my PayPal me link, right? And then too, I use all that money to help out children either in this community or the community in Brazil. So people aren't paying me anything. If anything, they're helping me to do what I think is best for the community physically. In other words, I physically think that I should still cater to some of the children in the community, which I do. Y'all hear them from time to time knocking on my door asking for popsicles and soccer balls. I do, and I think I should spread the wealth to other Afro peoples like in Brazil, because they have it hard down there, worse than we have it here. So they don't, so women have already stripped all that they could strip from this channel. But the one thing that they can't strip is the truth. So they try to get Google to hide it. Why? Because they're Democrats. All right. So they drummed up another woman. Y'all see the pattern? So Bill Cosby in the 70s, everybody know he didn't do none of that crap. And then the woman that got him, Constance, the woman that got him convicted, she lied 6 times to a judge that was biased against Cosby, to a prosecution that ran on his ability to get Cosby, because that's all that mattered. Yeah, we know that in the 70s, everything that was done was consensual, but we're going to use 2,000 rules for 1970 and persecute somebody for something that they did when what they were doing was kind of legal, but it was at least consensual. Yes, this is a persecution. Why? Because they didn't want any positive image of an Afro man being shown in a let's say it the way white people are called, as black household. All right, so the black women did their part, and so Cosby, his stuff in syndication, they could not handle it. Living single, okay, that's about a bunch of black women. No, that doesn't promote family values. It promotes whoredom, but not family values. Okay, that Cosby show was a problem. And you know what else was a problem? A different world, telling people to get a real education and study. What else was the problem? Oh, Dwayne Wayne, he gets in with a perfect math score. You can't have a black man just doing well in the United States and it be public. That's what the Democrats say. The Republicans, because it suits their platform, are saying, no, if you trust our education system and this, that, and the other, you can be successful. You don't need handouts. Okay, so let's look at how Michigan State railroaded this guy. All right, pay attention.
Developing tonight, he is from a county that has only 2 stoplights, and he was the first NFL player ever from his hometown. But now ex-NFL and former Michigan State football star Keith Mumphrey is in the fight of his life. This Me Too target says he is innocent. He's just filed a lawsuit against his college. The former Texans wide receiver was cut from the team 2 days after the Detroit Free Press broke this story.
So the Detroit Free Press broke a lie, and Houston Texans, because before he was drafted, know that this was up, and they know it's false, and they know that the first, well, y'all listen to it, but they know he was exonerated twice. All right, in order to not have bad publicity, understand how the National Football Team works when it comes to black people. All right, the Afro man, the indigenous. In order to not have bad publicity, they let a woman with whom they know is lying destroy the career and money of this guy. He needs to hit Michigan State all the way in their pocketbook.
He was never charged with any crime. He is here exclusively for the first time on television to tell his side of the story in moments, but first Trace Gallagher gives us the backstory.
He was never charged with any crime because they understood he never did any crime. He didn't even have sex with the woman. But that's what this is all about. She wanted to have sex with a dude that she knew was going into the NFL, and she wanted to get that NFL baby. Oh, what? Oh, now we get into the other third rail. Child support. This was a child support scam that he did not allow to happen. He was thinking with his right head, the correct head he was thinking with. This woman was trying to get a child support settlement. She was going to be patient and do the 9-month thing and wait for it. She was trying to get knocked up to get a child support check from an NFL star.
Trace.
Martha, both sides agree that on March 17, 2015, the woman in this case invited Keith Mumphrey back to her Michigan State dorm room. And there are text messages and a picture indicating that at the very least, the atmosphere was flirtatious.
She invited him back to her place, and both sides agreed that she, the woman, invited him back to her place.
But the woman claims she was drunk and unable to give consent. Mumphrey says she was not intoxicated, and surveillance video shows at the time she was walking with a, quote, steady gait and had no trouble keeping her balance. Keith Mumphrey claims the woman opposed him using a condom and they did not have sex.
The woman opposed him using a condom and they did not have sex. In other words, game recognized game, and he wasn't going for the game. But what he didn't recognize was that in the United States, there is no justice anymore. The women of the United States killed justice. The women of the United States have killed justice for men in the United States. The women of the United States have totally obliterated justice for men in the United States. Why? Because of a black woman-led thing called Me Too, where if women don't get their way, they just say, well, sexual assault. Yeah, I know it's false. We all know it's false. And he don't have to have sex with me. He don't even have to touch me. All I got to do is just say it, and you need to believe it immediately. He needs to lose his job, income, and everything. If we could take his life, the women would, especially if she's black and it's a black man. And these are all the pitfalls that an Afro man especially has to go through. But if you're going to be in political office and not be a Democrat, like a Bill Clinton, like everybody else in the Democratic Party that's been actually guilty of stuff, all right, then they're going to hit you with it too. So look out, conservative white man.
The woman claims she was sexually assaulted and filed a claim with campus police the next day. Now, remember, Michigan State follows the so-called Dear Colleague guidelines issued during the Obama administration. So instead of using the legal guilt standard of beyond a reasonable doubt, the university threshold is more likely than not. And
all right, thank you, Obama, for destroying men. But that was his purpose. Like I said, that was the most effed up, jacked up president for anybody that this country could ever have. And now we are starting to see the wickedness that he spewed onto this country take fold as these women utterly destroy everything.
Under the Dear Colleague policy, the accused is not allowed to question the accuser. And yet, despite that, after months of investigating, the university found that Mumphrey did not violate the school's sexual misconduct policy. Even the county prosecutor decided not to file charges, citing a lack of evidence and a lack of cooperation by the accuser. But unlike a court of law where a not guilty verdict cannot be retried, Title IX investigations do allow double jeopardy. So the woman appeals Mumphrey's acquittal, and Michigan State reopens the case. But Keith Mumphrey is now playing for the Houston Texans, and the notification by the school is sent to an old email account. So he doesn't know the case is back open and does not offer a defense. And in March of 2017, the university finds him responsible for sexual misconduct. He's then cut by the Texans, cannot get a tryout with any other team, and because he's banned from Michigan State, he can't finish his graduate degree. Mumphrey has now filed a lawsuit against Michigan State, alleging the university has left him with no viable job prospects, among other things. We reached out to MSU for a comment. So far, no response. Martha.
Trace, thank you very much. Here now, former Michigan State and ex-NFL player Keith Mumphrey and his attorney Andrew Miltenberg. Keith, thank you for being here tonight. It's good to have you with us. I'm going to ask you the tough question first. Did you sexually assault this woman?
No, ma'am.
What happened that night?
She invited me over to her room. I actually met her through Tinder. She invited me over to her room. She sent me a few pictures. We talked, and she told me she wanted me to come over when her roommates leave. So I came over. Roommates left. It was just me and her there. As soon as I got in there, she started undressing. So she basically made it known, you know, what she wanted to do. So fast forward a little bit. We got to a situation, and the situation was about the condom. I told her that I did not have sex without a condom. So that's when she flipped, and everything just went south. So I basically, you know, told her, like, hey, it's time for me to leave. I don't have time for this. I basically said, I'm an athlete, I'm black, and you're white. And I told her that, and I left. And that was the end of that.
So you never had sexual intercourse with this woman?
No, ma'am, I never did.
And
no,
is it true that you say one of your siblings had a baby at a young age, and that's why that's always your policy in terms of birth control?
Yes, I don't have any kids, so I mean, I'm not gonna have any kids till I'm married, so yeah. That was one of the main reasons. So.
All right. So you think that all of this is behind you because the school found you not guilty. The prosecutor dropped the charges after they looked at it and said, you know, there's nothing here. We're not moving forward. So then you go off to begin your life and your dream as a player for the Houston Texans. And suddenly you go back to play in a golf tournament at Michigan State, and suddenly someone comes up to you and says, you need to leave the property right now because she appealed your case and now we've decided you're guilty. What was your reaction?
I was hurt. Like, my feelings were crushed.
And what did you think about your future? Because then the story comes out in the Detroit Free Press, and then what happens when they call you into the office at the Texans?
You know, basically, they tell me that, you know, article came out, bad press, and we have zero tolerance for this.
So, Andrew Miltenberg, does he have a case? Can he turn his life around?
Absolutely. I think the NFL should welcome him back and give him an opportunity. He's been the subject of and victim of a terrible injustice, and he's overcome such tremendous hardship and such terrific odds in his life to make it to the pinnacle of his dreams, all to have it ripped away years after he's left the school by allegations that he was found not responsible for previously.
Keith, do you think that race plays any role in this?
I'll say to a certain extent, yes. You know, because when you look at it, you know, I'm black and she's white, and I just feel like, you know, it shouldn't have never happened. Like it shouldn't have, like the way Michigan State did me, it shouldn't have never happened. And I feel like I don't know, it hurt me when it just hurts. It hurts.
I can imagine. Your life was derailed, and you know, Andrew, what about the woman in this case? You know, what is she claiming now? She has not stepped forward. She has not talked about it, right?
That's correct. And she's claiming some sort of trauma. But what I don't want to lose sight of is that I think that after you read this entire narrative, you understand that Michigan State, after years of ignoring tremendous problems.
This is the school that Larry Nassar worked at, we should point out. They're in the middle of that mess.
With Larry Nassar. In the midst of that, turns around and we believe makes Keith Mumphrey the poster child for how hard they're going to now go after this issue.
That would be unfortunate if that's the case. It's incredible. Thank you. And please keep us posted. Keith, we wish you luck because we know you're trying to get your life back on track and that you would love to play for the NFL. You say that you want to be a role model for the kids in your town. You grew up in a very, very rural, small town in Georgia, and everybody there looks up to you. And we would love to follow this case, and we'll see where it goes. Thank you for speaking with us, Keith. And Andrew, thank you for being here tonight. Thank you both.
Now, let me say this. This dude is on Fox, not MSNBC, not CNN, but on Fox. Fox decided to defend this guy's honor. No democratically led news organization decided to do that. But wait, I'm not done. Don't forget, let's get those thumbs up. And to donate, my PayPal me link will be in the description box. Like, share, subscribe. And when you subscribe, click that bell.